Good morning, everyone. The Delaware County Commissioner meeting for September 9th, 2024 is now in session. We have a special guest today from ODOT and who also lives in our county, I believe. And I've asked him to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Tony Porosky. Thank you, Tony. Again, good morning, everyone. I'm Gary Merrill. I'm president of the board this year. To my right is Vice Chair Barb Lewis, and to my left is Commissioner Jeff Fitton, and of course our County Administrator Tracy Davies, and Deputy Administrators Don Houston and Eric Costello with us as well, and our clerks Brandy and Jennifer. Let's begin.
Resolution number 24-720 in the matter of approving electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held September 5th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 24-720. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
We do not have any public comment for a non-agenda item today, so we will go on to item number 3. Resolution number 24-721 in the matter of approving purchase orders and announce certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM APR 0906 and memo transfers in batch number MT APR 0906.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 24-721. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-722, in the matter of adopting a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 24-722. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-723, in the matter of confirming the revised assessments for the sanitary sewer improvements for the Riverby Estates subdivision and condos at Riverby and certifying the assessments to the county auditor.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Morning, Eric Hostetler, General Counsel. This resolution will certify the assessments for the Riverby Sanitary Sewer Project. This has been pending for several years. The hearing actually for this was in the old building. That's how long ago it was. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
This is a project that the county was able to play a role in and facilitate, so it's been a long time. Any other comments?
No.
Call the vote.
Vote on motion 24-723. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye. Thank you.
Our District Deputy Director of ODOT has a presentation for us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tony, just introduce yourself for the record.
Yes, definitely. I'm Deputy Director of District 6 for the ODOT, and my name is Anthony Tarowski. I go by Tony, so appreciate you guys having me here today. Really value the relationship and working with county government. I have a good relationship with Engineer Bowserman and Tracy, and I just want to make sure I come out and talk with you every year, give you an update on the projects within Delaware County, and be available for any questions. So appreciate it. I know you have a full agenda, so I'll kind of launch into it.
Okay.
And just to refresh for everyone, ODOT District 6 is 8 central Ohio counties, going from Marion and Morrow County down through Delaware, through Franklin County down to Fayette and Pickaway. We have about 400 folks overall, just shy of 30 within Delaware County. We take care of anything to do with the interstate and all U.S. and state routes outside of cities. It's hard to believe it. We're getting ready for snow and ice. We're going to have our readiness events here later on this month. We are in good shape on staffing within Delaware County, so we look forward to getting ready for that. I know it doesn't feel like it's quite there with the warm weather, but we're ready for that, and we're looking forward to wrapping up some of our construction and getting ready for that mode. I'll go through some project updates. I do know the city's represented here today as well. I appreciate their partnership. We're making very good progress on the point. You're going to see some changes on the project here over the next couple days. I think actually starting tomorrow night through the rest of the week, they're going to be setting some structural steel beams for the temporary railroad bridge. So you'll see some new steel overhead, over 36, 37 near my office. And then later on, kind of the second half of this month, they're going to start actually swapping. All of traffic is on the north side of the roadway today towards the nursery. They've been rebuilding the old eastbound lanes. They're nearing completion of that. They're going to flip traffic towards the south side, towards the Sheets and the bowling alley, and start to rebuild the old westbound lanes and eventually demolish the old railroad bridge once NS has been able to build some of their new rail lines up top. So going to actually see some real movement, some real change, continuing to proceed forward, working with the railroad and the city. So doing good things there. This is just a photo in construction. The walls you guys see, the large metal kind of bins, kind of looks like shipping containers. That's just temporary shoring that folks can see out there. That's actually the temporary bridge that will carry the 2 rail lines to avoid interrupting the roughly 30 trains a day that go through here. So that'll hold the trains over the next year and a half as they rebuild the wider, nicer and newer structure. Moving just a little bit to the east on US 3637, we've also been rebuilding the structure carrying the US route over I-71. I know it's been a little bit interesting with some of our unique traffic patterns that are out there, but it's actually been operating fairly well from a safety standpoint. It's been getting people through, and we're nearing the finish line on this project. This is a photo from earlier in the year where they were demolishing the old bridge, getting rid of the old beams, and they've since replaced them, and they're getting ready to pour their bridge deck actually in the next 2 weeks. And then once they're done with that, they will resurface the whole area from Four Winds Drive east to Wilson Road. Give us a nice new pavement, have that all be cleaned up and out of the way, be zipped up the rest of this calendar year. So very excited to see that. So our friends in Sunbury will be able to have their uninterrupted commute in the mornings. And continuing on 3637, a very important safety project that actually the commissioners as well as the county engineers have partnered with us to add turn lanes at US 36 and Galena Road. So earlier this year, they rebuilt North Galena Road to add a turn lane that has since been opened. South Galena is currently closed, but we're nearing the finish line on that project as well. They're doing some paving, they're bringing that up to grade, and then once they have that, where it's no longer kind of a hole in the ground, they'll pull the barrier, replace the signal poles, and do final surface course yet this fall. So all 3 of these projects along that corridor should see some good changes in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, great.
Yep, so excited to have that out of the way and have that important improvement built. That was a safety project, as was the roundabout at State Route 605 and Fancher Road. So this was constructed primarily in June, wrapped up earlier this summer, is essentially complete. The only thing we are waiting on is some permanent metal lighting poles. So they have some temporary poles out there, the wooden ones you can see in the photo. Just like everybody else, we're waiting on some structural steel. The supplies have a little bit of a delay, so we wanted to build that, have that opened, but they'll have some crews out yet this month to put those final poles up. And then we'll be done and have that good safety benefit. This is one I didn't talk about last year. This is actually over by the zoo in State Route 257. So this is actually, it's unique. ODOT obviously takes care of State Route 257, but if you've ever been to the zoo and you've gone from the east half of the property to the west to go over to the aquarium, you go through a tunnel. That's actually the bridge carrying State Route 257. That bridge, as you can see to the left, had some deficiencies. So it's an old box beam bridge. We needed to repair that. So we had actually put up some temporary netting and shoring, I think actually last year, to protect the public walking underneath. Here in a couple weeks, and I believe it's actually going to be October 7th, they're going to actually restrict State Route 257 to 1 lane in each direction and then do nighttime work to replace those bridge beams. So it won't actually impact the zoo customers. Work very closely with them to make sure this is kind of the least impact to anybody possible, but you're going to see some unusual traffic patterns out there. I don't think it'll be too bad of a delay, but given so many people walking through there every day, we want to make sure we're being very careful sharing information out there. They're actually going to close up the hole every day, so we don't have any risk of any vehicles, any errant vehicles falling into the excavation. So this should not go very long. It's a pretty quick operation. Hoping to be done ahead of Boo at the end. So should be a good one. So those are the end of the projects that are under construction this year, but we're going to have a even busier season next year if that's possible. We're actually going to be moving into building the first phase of the 36 and 71 interchange expansion. So this is actually a kind of a layout of the overall project, and it builds a new stretch of roadway, a new set of ramps similar to Polaris and Gemini. It's actually widening, expanding the interchange to the south, kind of north of the old way station. And the phase that we're going to be building together with the help of the County Transportation Improvement District, or TID, we're going to be selling a contract in May of next year to build the new bridge over I-71, to build some of the ramp connections, and to tie in to Wilson Road behind the outlet mall. This will be roughly a 2-year project. We've actually been stockpiling earthwork at the old way station along I-71 to give us a jump start in construction next year. So definitely it'll kind of be a 2-year overall project. It'll start in the summer. It'll go into the summer of 2027. So this is very good. Should also alleviate some of the congestion, some of the traffic, particularly to the east. And then we'll continue to work our way to the west and to the east towards Sunbury long term. We highlighted the roundabout at 605 in Fancher in the past as a good safety project. We are also progressing along with a proposed roundabout at State Route 315 and Hyatt's Road, kind of in the southern part of the county. This one's moving along. It's going to sell over the winter, and we are anticipating construction in June of next year, trying to miss as much of the school season as we can. There's a lot of things to coordinate around in that part of the county, so we're going to try to do this in the least disruptive way possible, try to put incentives on our contractors to finish early. So this is a good one. This is actually also going to give us some benefit as far as the traffic backing up at that 4-way stop every day during the rush hour. I'd also like to highlight some work in the northern part of the county. Don't worry about reading the actual text on there, but just to give you an idea on State Route 521, we have several investments we've made. People may be aware we actually recently converted Old State Road and State Route 521 in the village of Kilburn into a 4-way stop. Found that was the best way to make a safety improvement without disrupting the homes and businesses around there. We're also pursuing safety money to build pedestrian improvements from the Brown Township Hall and ball fields along State Route 521 in coordination with the village and the county engineer. So that's something we're very proud of, to have that as a interim measure. And then we're also investing in 2 roundabouts on State Route 521. Actually one at North Galena Road, farther to the east, and then also at State Route 61. You may be familiar with the Peanut Roundabout at Wilson Road, State Route 656 and 61. It's been a good success as far as reducing crashes. We also see the intersection with 61 and 521 has serious crashes. We want to invest in a roundabout there, make that improvement. If you've actually been out there, the 2 legs of State Route 521 don't line up very well. There's some sight distance issues. We're excited to get that built. And we're also investing in 3 or 4 bridge replacements along that corridor as well. So just to show, we're trying to invest all the way around the county, make improvements where we can. And we're also finishing up comment on our 23 Connect corridor. So this is a very comprehensive plan that we're looking to wrap up by the end of this calendar year. We actually held 8 public meetings around the county in the first half of August. And we're actually we're looking to have all comments in by September 16th. We'll always pick up the phone, we'll always take a comment from the public, but we established that deadline just to be able to get folks to get their comments in so we can turn around and get a response to them later this fall. And for anyone who's not familiar, we've looked at the corridor between Waldo and Worthington along US 23, and we've looked at ways to improve safety and reduce travel time, make it more consistent. And we've looked at overpasses, interchanges, restricted crossing U-turns, like at Old State and US 36. Made some recommendations, and we're going to try to develop projects off of this plan long term. Had really good involvement from the public, hundreds of people in person, pretty good involvement online, and we're excited to make these really important safety improvements. I like to tie this back. We've had 9 fatalities on this corridor in the last 3 years. We're really excited to try to reduce that and make this better for the public. So if anybody hasn't had a chance to make a comment, there's still a week left, and just ask that if you please go ahead and put that in there. If you Google US 23 Connect, it's easy to put a form in there, or we'll take a phone call as well. And I'll also highlight, we also have one more study. Go back a slide. Sorry. We're also looking at US 37 between the city of Delaware and actually State Route 161 over in Licking County. Everyone's familiar with the growth generated by Intel, or really just in the area in general. We're looking at this important It's primarily 2 lanes east of Sunbury, this important corridor, looking at what we need to do within the next 10 years as far as improvements. It's primarily looking at what kind of intersection improvements we need to make. Could be a signal, could be turn lanes, could be roundabouts. Just trying to identify the needed investment and prioritize that with the help of our local partners. So this study will wrap up later this year. We've had good representation from all the cities involved in the corridor as well as the county engineers. If there's anything you guys would like to hear in a follow-up briefing as far as investment in this roadway, definitely happy to talk with you. So I've thrown a lot out there. I'd like to pause for any questions on any of that, and I can tab back as needed. I think a lot of good work going on in the county. So.
There is a lot of good work going in the county. Commissioner Benton, Commissioner Lewis?
Go ahead, Bert.
No, I mean, I'm just, I know with the point too, that it's gonna be night and day. So, and it's right near your office, so
I'm excited.
you can keep an eye on it.
Yeah, my engineer's very excited to have free
Yes.
inspection looking out the window.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, yeah. Then as far as, I know now that we're gonna have some one-way, as you just mentioned, what is, and I know you mentioned this too, but what comes right after that then? After we go east, west, and?
As far as along 36, 37?
Yeah, right.
We're going to 5 lanes underneath that railroad bridge. We also have the improvements at 36 and 37 and 71 with that interchange. We're building that first bridge, then we'll probably build to the west next. We're looking to purchase right-of-way next to connect
Okay.
over. It's between 3Bs and K and Africa Road is where the new
Okay.
alignment will tie in.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tony, I thank you for coming. Thank you for all you do. I know our engineer's office works very well with your team, and we're getting a lot of good things done. I think, again, the biggest thing you have in the coming years is the 23 Connect study, and it'll be the most impactful. And not that the others are small, but because they aren't, but 23 is a huge issue. And I applaud you and the governor's office and everybody for tackling it, you know, and developing it kind of in bite-sized chunks, you know, to look at alternatives, you know, segment by segment. And I think it's just great. So let's try to finish that project by 25, maybe, Tony?
We'll try to get some shovels in the ground by 25.
No, again, appreciate everything you're doing. Appreciate the partnership.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Commissioner.
Yes, absolutely, Tony. Thank you for coming in. Boy.
Chris, you're here. I see Chris is here. You have anything you want to
Oh,
say?
yeah,
Chris?
there's Chris.
Our county engineer?
Tony will share the podium with me.
Of course.
Tony, thank you for being here. Let me back up and just say that roadways, the public roadway system is made up of this web of all kind of different jurisdictions and responsibilities, from ODOT to counties to cities to townships to villages. So when the public drives our roads, they don't really have this distinction of what kind of road they're on or who's responsible for it. So the relationships between the agencies that maintain roads needs to be excellent in order to provide excellent service. And I'm proud to say we do have an excellent relationship with ODOT. And the fact that Tony makes the effort to come out and do all this is evidence of how important they think their partners are. And so, Tony, thank you for your intentionality of connecting with all of us and keeping us informed. You're no doubt realized a number of the projects that Tony reviewed for you involve multiple jurisdictions, involve jurisdictions with, or projects with your board, our office, the TID, a number of other agencies. So it's really important. You see the county growing around us the way I see the county growing around us. We have to react to that. Tony's presentation this morning is evidence that ODOT's reacting to the growth in our county as well and understands those challenges. So I do want to make two other observations. One, we should all be proud that Tony's a locally grown BV graduate, lives here in the county still, and so his connection to the county is not just professional, but it's personal, and we like that. So, I also want to acknowledge an important retirement. Jack Marchbanks, ODOT Deputy Director, will leave his position later this month, right?
End of the month.
Yeah, and Jack's been a tremendous leader statewide and here in District 6. He was twice was the Deputy Director here at District 6, and Tony follows his legacy of great public service. And so if you get a chance to see Jack or drop him a note, we really appreciate what he's done for us. And he's not only a really, really great public servant, he's one of the nicest, most genuine people you'll ever meet. So Ohio's really benefited from that. I also want to take the opportunity to acknowledge and thank Governor DeWine. His investment in infrastructure to support the growth of the county, and particularly the Intel area, where they didn't just drop the Intel project announcement on us. They followed that up with understanding there are infrastructure improvements need to be made, and he's made the money available, and we're working on projects right now to be ready for that project funded by the state of Ohio. So all that to say, Tony, thank you for your great partnership and friendship to the county.
Thank you, Chris.
I just want to add, you made a comment, Chris, you said react. Frankly, I think we do a good job of not react, but be proactive, and I think due to the efforts of all the parties involved, we really stay ahead of the game, probably more so than a lot of other counties are able to do. And I put our road system up against any, and I think we've been proactive. I prefer that word to react. And that's a lot of people have played a role in that, from the townships to the county to ODOT and federal government as well, with these projects that we're talking about. And you mentioned the 23. I was privileged to be at the press conference that our governor held at Columbus State, and to kind of put everything in perspective, get us moving, and appreciate his help as well. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
all.
Look forward to seeing you next year, right?
Definitely, if not sooner.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Item number 7, resolution number 7224-724, a proclamation designating September 9th through 13th, 2024 as Disability Voting Rights Week in Delaware County.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second, discussion. Now, you got a lot of introductions to make here, don't you?
I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves in just a moment. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Chase Waits, and I'm the Director of Communications and Community Engagement for the Delaware County Board of Developmental Disabilities. I'm here this morning with representatives from the Delaware County District Library, Disability Rights Ohio, and the League of Women Voters. We're requesting a proclamation recognizing this week as Disability Voting Rights Week. This is an initiative that raises awareness about the unique challenges that individuals with disabilities face when they're exercising their right to vote. And now I'd like to give everyone else an opportunity to introduce themselves and why this initiative is important. Next.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Courtney Hines, and I am the Outreach Advocate at the Delaware County Board of Developmental Disabilities. It is important for me and other people with developmental disabilities to be able to vote and be able to have that right, because as a person with a developmental disability, I've had issues being able to vote, and I think it's important for our county and other counties to be able to vote and make sure that our community is as inclusive and accessible as possible. And I think voting is a big part of that. I think everybody should be able to vote, and I think that's a big part of you know, being an American and, you know, making our rights heard. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and I've heard of the great work that you are doing in developmental disabilities. Many of us have. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Nicole Faust with the Delaware County District Library, and I'm here with our director, Brian Howard, and our deputy director, Molly Myers-Labady. And this is a very important issue for us as well. We are codified, all public libraries in the state of Ohio, that we are allowed to assist with voter registration, collect voter registrations, and turn them to the Board of Elections. And so this always becomes a natural partnership for us. And I'll let Brian say a word if he would like to, but we're very excited to be part of this initiative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I won't take much time, but I just want to thank the County Board of DD, the League of Women's Voters, shows wonderful partnerships with the agencies in the county. We're happy to take part of that, and just all the wonderful work that everybody's doing in this county.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good morning. I'm Sue Regardis. I'm the president of the League of Women Voters of Delaware County, and we are here today in support of the Disabilities Board and the Public Library, and we're working together to support the right of everyone to vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Ann Wenberg. I'm also with the League of Women Voters, and we're all about people being able to vote. So thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lee Hollins. I'm the treasurer of the Delaware County League of Women Voters, and I'm also on the board of Disability Rights Ohio. And we thank you for this because the league works for all voters, advocates for all voters, and DRO does a great deal for those who are disabled.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Adonna Wilson from Disability Rights Ohio. I'm the voting access advocate. And again, we appreciate this opportunity to partner with these wonderful people. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, everyone being here, and I think we're all interested in having good, fair elections. And I have asked our head of our Board of Elections to be here as well, because sometimes we do proclamations or an assumption we're doing it because of things aren't going well. I'm a poll worker when I'm not on the ballot, and I think we do a really good job in our county, and I thought I'd just have Carla here of our Board of Elections kind of give a summary of how we handle elections and specifically this group. So Carla, would you be willing to come forward?
Carla,
Looks like you have a guest with you.
You have a guest with you.
Hi, my name is Carla Heron, Director of the Board of Elections, and I brought with me
I'm Lydia Fowler.
and Lydia works in our office and came with me today. I think she's friends of Courtney's, I understand. And we take it very seriously in Delaware County, and every election we go out to our polling locations. That's why I brought Lydia. She's part of our team that goes out and checks the locations every election. And you want to tell them
Sure.
what you've done?
So in the past, I go to the polling location to check the AED, making sure the ramps are good enough for the wheelchairs, and making sure nothing the doors are wide enough for the wheelchairs can go in, and just make sure it's what should I say compliant for the wheelchairs. Thank you. My honor.
Thank you.
She does a great job, and like I said, we take it very seriously, and we're honored that you asked us to come and be part of this, and thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
And Carla, I believe when someone has an issue, we go out to the car at the polling site, is that correct? Or?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you for that. If you'd like for me to
Sure.
add that, anyone that requests a ballot, we would either go to, if they're confined to a nursing home or their home, we would send a Republican and a Democrat any place that they were within the county that they were request that we would appear and assist in any way, and we always make sure that it's bipartisan. And like I said, we would go anywhere or assist anyone, and we take it very seriously. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, I'm going to read the proclamation. I thought it was important to hear from our Board of Elections. They do such a great job. We, again, I've said this quite frequently. Being a poll worker, I get to see it firsthand. And whether you're a Democrat or Republican, when you're working out there, I can't tell the difference. And sometimes we have to go find someone, because you have to have an R and a D. Sometimes you have to ask 2 or 3 people because you're not sure of the R's and D's, because we work so well together. We don't look at people based on their party affiliation. And this county does a great job, and we're fortunate to have a really, really good board of elections. And the proclamation, we all supported in spirit, but I thought it was important to hear the job that we do in our county. So with that, I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas the Delaware County Commissioners are committed to fostering a positive environment community where all residents have equal access to resources, services, and opportunities, and whereas individuals with disabilities face unique challenges in exercising their right to vote, and it is essential to raise awareness and provide support to ensure their voices are heard, and whereas the Delaware County District Library, the Delaware County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Disability Rights Ohio, and the League of Women Voters have formed a valuable partnership to promote the rights of individuals with disabilities and provide accessible resources for voter education. And whereas Disability Voting Rights Week, taking place September 9th through 13th, 2024, is an important initiative to promote the voting rights of individuals with disabilities and encourage their active participation in our democracy. Now therefore, we, the Delaware County Commissioners, do hereby recognize the week of September 9th through 13th, 2024, as Disability Voting Rights Week in Delaware County, and commend the Delaware County District Library, the Delaware County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Disability Rights Ohio, and the League of Women Voters for their collaborative efforts to ensure that all residents have equal access to voting resources and opportunities. Signed by Commissioner Jeff Benton, Commissioner Barb Lewis, and Commissioner Gary Merrill. With that, I call for the vote, then we'll get a photo.
Vote on motion 24-724. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye. Let's be up front, we'll get a vote, we'll get a picture. We'll be back, okay. Carly, would you two like to come forward and be part of it?
If they would like, for
Absolutely. Everybody gather around. Everybody says squeeze in here and make this work.
I'm gonna take a couple, because I'm not your normal photographer. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Just a comment before we continue here. Jennifer said she's not a photographer. There's nothing she can't do. She's doing well.
right.
She's probably the most modest person, but there's nothing she can't do. I see
That's
several
right.
nods in the audience.
Item number 8, resolution number 24-725, in the matter of approving supplemental appropriation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Justin Abe, Director of Finance. This item's been submitted for the Ditch Maintenance Fund to provide maintenance services primarily on the Orange Village Center project.
Questions or comments? Call for vote.
Vote on motion 24-725. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 24-726, in the matter of accepting the recommendations of the Delaware County Tax Incentive Review Councils for tax year 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jonathan Cabot, Economic Development Coordinator. The Tax Incentive Review Councils for Liberty and Orange, which have the only county-granted incentives, met on September 22nd, and they voted to continue all of the incentives that are in those jurisdictions.
Any questions or comments? Call for vote.
Vote on motion 24-726. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Resolution number 24-727, in the matter of ranking professional design firms for the Delaware County New Social Services Administration Facility.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Good morning, John Melvin, Director of Facilities. We received a total of 7 statements of qualifications for this request for the design services for the new Social Services Administration building. The review committee, consisting of representatives from the 3 agencies, Don Houston and myself, reviewed the qualifications, shortlisted 3 firms, and conducted interviews with those 3 firms. It was very good interviews. We had 3 very excellent firms. But as charged by the Ohio Revised Code, we have to rank the top 3 in order. So the rankings that the committee is recommending is that number 1, MSA Design, 2, Design Group, and 3, The Collaborative.
Any questions or comments? Just for the benefit of some people in the audience, the social service building we're talking about, this has been under conversation for a while.
Yes.
Years.
A long while, and a building that will be ultimately built on the Bixby campus that will combine JFS, Adams Board, and Development Disabilities. And this is the first important step of getting that project moving forward. And appreciate it. Any other questions? or comments?
Maybe, John, if you could just walk us through the process, just in a quick overview.
The next step, now that we've ranked these firms, we'll start negotiations with the for contract for the firm ranked number 1. And once we actually, let's step back a minute too as well. Been working with the Zudi as our owner's rep. They facilitated these interviews and helped us just facilitate everything for the ranking. They are helping us with contract negotiations and in those manners. So yeah, once we get them under contract, they'll start design work right away. We also have out right now a request for qualifications, request for proposals for construction managers at risk firms. So we hope to get them on board as soon as possible to assist with the design of the building, to look at constructability, alternative means and methods to make sure we get the best building and meet our budget goals as best we can. So we're looking at design, probably about a year design. They hope to maybe start construction next year, next June, summer, maybe some early packages with the site. And we're looking at about 18 months to 2-year construction period.
I'll just add the, sorry, go ahead, Commissioner.
No, I think it's, I've been waiting for this. I think I'm so glad that we're moving ahead on it. It will really help people receive the services that they need without going to multiple places. So thank you. Glad to hear the timeline.
Yeah, and one ancillary benefit is that we're going to free up the corner of Orange Road and 23, by taking control of that corner.
That's right.
And developing that in some new plan for that corridor area. So that'll be, again, kind of a supplemental plus for this whole project.
And it'll also, with this moving JFS out of the Hayes building, it'll open up some space in the Hayes building, because we're getting a lot of pressure from the court's office, prosecutor's office, juvenile court, and just our needs for the office space downtown as our downtown campus.
Right. Lots of benefits.
It's a cost of a growing county as far as more space. The theory of this is somewhat similar to what we did at Bixby campus, taking those areas involved in economic development of our county, putting them all together. And it's based on what we're doing here with this building. And the financing of this will be included in that will be DD and Adams Board Mental Health, and of course, the JFS federally funded, a little different, but they'll be participating indirectly. With that, any other questions or comments?
Vote.
Vote on motion 24-727. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-728, in the matter of approving a pipeline relocation and reimbursement agreement with Columbia Gas of Ohio for Del CR 13-5.02, Worthington Road and Lewis Center Road intersections.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Good morning, Rob Riley, Chief Deputy Engineer. First, just want to take a moment and give a belated thanks to Director Tarowski for being here this morning. I know he had to head back to work, but also wanted to point out this is actually one of the projects we are working on jointly with ODOT. This has some ODOT funding in it, and there are a slew of other projects we're working on. The director did a nice job of hitting kind of the high points, but we have a number of other projects we've been working on very well with ODOT. So this agreement before you involves relocating a Columbia Gas pipeline that is currently in a private easement, and therefore we have to compensate Columbia Gas for the relocation of that pipeline to make way for the planned roundabout at this intersection. You'll recall we've been working at this intersection for some time, trying to get this roundabout underway. Some of the utilities have moved, but now this will allow Columbia Gas to proceed with their relocation, and our hope is to break ground on the roadway construction probably early next year.
Any questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 24-728. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-729, in the matter of approving right-of-way work permit summary sheet.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
We're recommending approval on these 11 utility permits today.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 24-729. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-730, in the matter of approving owner's agreement for Sunbury Road widening for Miller Farms.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Miller Farms is a new development located in the village of Galena, but the development does involve an access onto Sunbury Road outside the village corporation limits. And so this agreement will govern the completion of that turn lane required for the new access and provides for the bond to ensure that work is done properly.
Any questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 24-730. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-731, in the matter of approving plans, specifications, estimate, and setting the bid date for the project known as Griffith number 391 Watershed Drainage Improvement Project.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
This will be the same explanation for the next three items. These are all ditch petition projects that your board has previously approved, and we'd like to go out to bid on the three of these projects.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 24-731. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-732, in the matter of approving plans, specifications, estimate, and setting the bid date for the project known as RIBOB number 620 Watershed Drainage Improvement Project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Nothing further.
Call for vote.
Vote on motion 24-732. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-733, in the matter of approving plans, specifications, estimate, and setting the bid date for the project known as the Webster Arnold Watershed Drainage Improvement Project.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 24-733. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-734, in the matter of accepting the roads, establishing stop conditions, and releasing the maintenance bonds for Howard Farm Section 2, Howard Farm Section 3, Pyatt Preserve Extension 1, and Pyatt Preserve Extension Section 2.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded.
Both of these subdivisions are located in Berlin Township. Howard Farms includes 56 lots, and Pyatt Preserve is 84 lots. The streets were actually constructed last year, have been through the developer maintenance period. We've done the final inspection and are now recommending acceptance of those streets.
Questions or comments? Call for vote.
Vote on motion 24-734. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Item number 18, resolution number 24-735, in the matter of levying a special assessment for the construction of improvements to Home Road and Green Meadows Drive, both located east of US Route 23 in Orange Township, Delaware County, Ohio.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
You'll recall several years ago when the Home Road extension east of US 23 was being developed, we had a development agreement that involved some cost participation by the property owner. Part of that cost participation will come in the form of a special assessment on a new subdivision being developed by Pulte Homes. It includes 219 condominium units. And those units will be assessed over a period of 20 years that will ultimately pay for or help pay for the extension of Home Road, what we call Phase 4A. It's the railroad grade separation as well as the Green Meadows Drive extension. So this action would actually levy those special assessments, and I'll recognize Eric Hostetler. Eric was helpful in putting this together, and this is, I think, a good deal for the county. It recognizes that those new residences do contribute to the need for the roadway and are really paying their fair share of the charge for that.
You say Eric was speaking, or, okay. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I guess, you know, this is one of our major initiatives, finishing that east-west corridor with a really good connection road and bridge over the railroad there. And so I want to thank you, Rob, Chris, and Eric for working on this. It's really important. And then also, another important addition is the extension of Green Meadows all the way up to North Road. It's going to make the traffic flow on 23 a little better. So good to see that this structure put in place helps fund the bridge and that extension, because those are important transportation improvements.
Any questions or comments? Call the vote.
Vote on motion 24-735. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have on the agenda regarding expedited type 2 annexation petition. And I'm going to read the, Eric, I think best thing for me to read this at first, and then I'll turn it over to you, and then, or do you have the people who wish to speak for and against first? Do you have a preference? Okay, and we'll let you speak, and then we'll do that. Okay, here we, pursuant to section 709-023E of the revised code, if an objection to expedited type 2 annexation petition is timely filed with the Board of County Commissioners, the board shall review the petition to determine if each of the following conditions has been met. 1, the petition meets all the requirements set forth in and was filed in the manner provided in section 709-021 of the revised code. 2, the persons who signed the petition are owners of the real estate located in the territory proposed for annexation and constitute all the owners of real estate in that territory. 3, the territory proposed for annexation does not exceed 500 acres. 4, the territory proposed for annexation shares a contiguous boundary with the municipal corporation to which annexation is proposed for a continuous length of at least 5% of the perimeter of the territory proposed for annexation. 5, the annexation will not create an unincorporated area of the township that is completely surrounded by the territory proposed for annexation. 6, the municipal corporation to which annexation is proposed has agreed to provide to the territory proposed for annexation the services specified in the relevant ordinance or resolution adopted under Division C of this section. 7, if a street or highway will be divided or segmented by the boundary line between the township and the municipal corporation as to create a road maintenance problem, the municipal corporation to which annexation is proposed has agreed as a condition of annexation to assume the maintenance of that street or highway or to otherwise correct the problem. As used in this section, street or highway has the same meaning as in section 4511-01 of the revised code. This process is an administrative review, not a public hearing. Therefore, no testimony will be taken and no evidence will be presented. However, interested parties were advised of the date of this review and were given an opportunity to submit any additional comments in writing and/or appear in this meeting to provide public comments. The review is limited to the conditions stated in section 709-023E of the revised code, and the board's determination of whether all conditions have been met will be based on a review of the petition as submitted, along with the other documents submitted in accordance with section 709-023, including the municipal corporation service resolution, ordinance, and the resolutions or ordinance stating objections to proposed annexation. I'm going to change that order. I think it probably makes more sense to have those who wish to speak for or against it to go first. And I believe we have one speaking in favor. Is that correct?
2 now.
2?
There are 2 now.
Okay. If Mr. Brake from the city of Delaware come forward. Our new city manager in Delaware City.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Paul Brake. I'm the Delaware City Manager. Thank you for this opportunity to speak in support of agenda item number 19. Specifically noted in the 7th item that you read out that was brought to our attention concerning the possibility of a road maintenance problem. So I'm here to affirm that the city will meet the requirements of the Ohio Revised Code 709.023E7 and that this will not create a problem. In the event of an annexation, the city of Delaware agrees to comply with the state of Ohio's roadway infrastructure maintenance responsibility manual as it pertains to US 42, both with and outside of the city's corporation boundaries. So I just wanted to affirm the city's position that obviously the petitioner cannot speak on behalf of the city. There is a city council meeting this evening that we will be revising our legislative language that's in there and submitting that. So happy to continue to answer any questions that's outside of this meeting to help facilitate this application. So thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much. And our second speaker in support is Michael Cade. Michael, come forward and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Commissioners. There were a couple issues raised with regard to the objections. The city manager, I've talked with him and he just addressed you on the issue of the segmentation of the road. I've always been amazed by expedited type 2 annexations that they talk about segmentation when the land never leaves the township and never enters the city. So that's always just befuddled me a little bit. But one of the things that I also wanted to address was the utilities as a part of the process, at least the process that I follow, and I probably do as many annexations as anybody, maybe more than anybody in Delaware County. And as just part of the due diligence, and through the process at the county engineer's map room, they always identify. I've never been involved with one that they don't question or have issues with segmentation of the roads. Additionally, as a part of my process, so that I can be capable of addressing, because I'm not involved in the process as the agent for the petitioners to talk about how the utilities are going to get to the property and things like that. That's part of the process of as you go through preliminary and final development plans and things like that. However, in this particular instance, and if I could just present these to you, these are maps showing the general area that we're talking about. In the kind of greenish color is the acreage that is being sought. There are seven parcels, 3 of which are in Concord Township, 4 of which are in Delaware Township. However, the owner, or the petitioner in this case, is also the owner of an 8th parcel that is already in the city of Delaware. And if you will note, the area in kind of the rose color is the areas that are already in the city of Delaware, for which police, fire, sewer, water are already in the process or have been at the property line. The pie-shaped piece, which is at the eastern end, covers the full eastern end of the annexation, except for those south of 42, that particular parcel, you can see that the sanitary sewer, 3 manhole covers are at or near that property that's in the city of Delaware. Across what is Sawmill Parkway, the extension north of 42, the water is there. It is the responsibility of all developers to tie in at an appropriate time. Usually, the city will not permit those utilities to be extended until the annexation is accepted. You are the body which approves, but the acceptance rests with the city. Additionally, in this particular case, this area has been, is part of.
You have 3 minutes if
Sure.
you're seated, so we need to
Sure.
wrap it up.
These parcels that are being requested for annexation are in the comprehensive plan for the city of Delaware. They are in the utility service area for the city of Delaware, and there is no lack of ability to provide those services to this development.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Those are the two we have speaking for, and I believe we have 2 speaking against. And the order in which they were received, Chris Reinhardt.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Reinhardt, Reinhardt Legal Services, here on behalf of Concord Township. So as you all are aware, having dealt with annexations, it's a very technical process. There's issues that you're required to review. As going through this particular petition, I've been here before on other annexations into the city of Delaware. With respect to utilities, you know, typically what you'll see is a conditional grant of provision of services. It's a conditional grant based upon a developer or a development extending those lines into the annexed territory. And the concern that comes up, the way that they structure their ordinance is that they say that they're going to provide these services upon the date of acceptance of annexation, and then condition it upon the extension of the lines and things necessary to provide those services. And with respect to a township, for example, the 2 that become of most importance are fire and police. It's a safety-related issue. So if you conditionally say you're going to provide these services, and you have to extend a water line to provide a fire hydrant, who's covering in the interim? Is it the township or is it the city? And typically those things might be addressed by a mutual aid agreement or something like that, but those things can be and should be addressed at the time the petition for annexation is filed. They can be, they just aren't. So those are principally the concerns related to the extension of those services into the territory, is that on the one hand, you say you're going to provide these services on the date of acceptance, but then you conditionally say you're going to give those. So that's the technical concern with respect to those. With respect to the road maintenance issue, once again, you know, it's something that can be addressed before it's ever given to you. That wasn't even addressed by the city of Delaware before this morning. Again, as I've told you before, I think with respect to the Brown Township annexation, if there's going to be an intergovernmental agreement between ODOT and the city of Delaware with respect to road maintenance, that also can be addressed before the petition for annexation is filed. I've dealt with the city, with the county, with ODOT on other issues. Those things can be addressed. They weren't here. And as I've told you before, under the Delaware City Charter, the city manager cannot make an agreement with ODOT. It has to be approved by city council. And so since it wasn't addressed, you don't have an intergovernmental agreement, I don't think you can approve the petition today. Thanks.
Thank you. And I believe our second speaker is Joe Garrett.
Joe Garrett, Concord Township trustee. Good morning. I will get to speaking to what he was speaking about, but from a township perspective, this is a taking. And if we are going to have a taking, we believe that you should play by the rules. And we believe the rules are clearly stated at the application to provide all the information, which was not done. And to show up in a meeting and go, oh, well, it's not a big deal, and here it is, or this or that, takes away the ability of our residents through their represented leadership to review that and to question that and to potentially raise problems that may exist. That is being removed to do it after the fact. We believe the code is very clear that this is what you are to provide. I do not believe that any political subdivision, because of their rules, saying, well, you know, our rules don't allow us to do A, B, or C, maybe as it relates to utilities, should supplant the state laws of saying this is what you will do at this time for application. And I think that's what I've heard today is, well, this is how we do it. Well, that's not acceptable. I think it's very clear that this stuff is supposed to be done at the time of application so that we do not have confusion or concerns that do not get addressed or give us the opportunity and time to review it before decisions are made. And so this, you know, to us, it looks like a little bit of hometown cooking. It's always been done this way. We've done this in the past. It doesn't make it right. Maybe nobody's objected before, but we are. I also have, and I do not have the answer, and maybe Eric can address this. In this case, the boundaries are not being conformed, which in essence gives the opportunity to create people that identify and are part of the city of Delaware having a voice in our township elections. And so I guess in our opinion, knowing that this board, there is no appeal. You are the final say. Yes or no, they can't appeal it. We would like you to turn down this annexation, and that's one of our concerns, is you were giving the city of Delaware, with them not conforming boundaries, if I'm understanding it correctly, and I've seen this in other parts of the state where this has happened, undue influence in our elections by allowing residents to vote of the city of Delaware to vote in our township elections. In one place in the state, it creates a problem with them passing fire levies because there's people that have been annexed vote in that, and they always vote no because they get service from their city, and they do not want service. They don't want to pay for service for the township, which they get to vote in. It's a problem. But I don't believe that those folks that will be city residents should be voting in our township elections. So we would ask that the board, for all those reasons, but mostly for not following the rules as the state law lays out very clearly, to vote no on this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Eric, I'm going to ask you to come forward, and there's 7 areas, and ask you to talk about those, and do any apply to that?
Eric Hostetler again, General Counsel. My recommendation on these reviews is always just to kind of go through each of the items in order of the statute. The objection was only based on 2 of the criteria, but if an objection is made, it's incumbent upon the board to actually review all 7 factors, even though maybe they were not subject to an objection. And so the first item is the petition meets all the requirements set forth in and was filed in the manner provided in section 709.021 of the revised code. Staff has reviewed the petition in the manner in which it was filed, and we have not identified any concerns. I'm happy to answer any questions the board might have about that item.
I hear no questions. Proceed.
Number 2, the persons who signed the petition are owners of the real estate located in the territory proposed for annexation and constitute all of the owners of real estate in that territory. Again, staff has reviewed that condition and the ownership records and did not identify any concerns. Happy to answer any questions you might have about that item. Number 3, the territory proposed for annexation does not exceed 500 acres. As all annexation petitions are reviewed by the engineer's map department, one of the things they identify is whether that acreage component has been met. This was reviewed and there were not any concerns about that. I believe this annexation is 239 some odd acres. So happy to answer any questions you might have about that item.
Proceed.
Number 4, the territory proposed for annexation shares a contiguous boundary with the municipal corporation to which annexation is proposed for a continuous length of at least 5% of the perimeter of the territory proposed for annexation. Again, this is one of the items that the engineer's office reviews and provides a calculation. We did not identify any concerns with the contiguity requirement, but again, happy to answer any questions you might have on that item.
No questions. Proceed.
Number 6 pertains to the services resolution adopted by the municipal corporation. City of Delaware did adopt legislation in regard to services for the annexed territory, and this was the subject of one of the objections. The objection was concerning the conditional nature of the services to be provided. I believe we've discussed in previous annexations that the services resolution specifies what services they will provide, but does not require them to provide any specific services. Actually, there are some disputes amongst various district courts in Ohio about whether they need to provide any services or whether they can adopt legislation saying they will not provide any services. So my review of the services resolution is that it meets the statutory requirements, but I'm happy to answer any questions you might have on that.
Proceed.
Number 7 deals with the, and this was another condition that was included in Concord Township's objection. If a street or highway will be divided or segmented, that's the first component, and I think a review of the petition would indicate that the Route 42 is segmented or divided. The statute goes on to say, and will create a road maintenance problem. That's up for the board's decision as to whether that segmentation or division of the road will create a road maintenance problem. But in the past, I think the discussions the board has had is that if there's not some arrangement on how to deal with that, that potentially could create a road maintenance problem. So I don't know if the board has any questions about or comments about whether it creates a road maintenance problem.
I think the council is going to address that tonight. Is that, do you have the terminology or?
So, City of Powell, City of Sunbury, and their services resolution has some kind of standard language they include whenever there's going to be a road that might be divided or segmented. And I've reviewed what is on the council's agenda for tonight, and it includes that provision. There is case law that requires this board, as a part of the review, if that resolution states that language, to take it at face value. It does not require an intergovernmental agreement. That it's either there is an agreement or they have agreed to otherwise correct the problem. So the language is statutorily sufficient if it's adopted tonight. And my only point to you is that this review needs to be completed by next Thursday. So if you want to continue the review at one of your subsequent meetings prior to the 19th, allowing the council to take that action, that's within your discretion to do that.
Okay, that's a week from this Thursday.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Anything additional you want to add, or does that cover it?
Nothing for me. Any other questions you have for me while I'm up here?
Could a approval be subject to approval of that road maintenance condition tonight?
You're saying the board would take action today contingent upon? I would advise against making any contingent approval. You need to make a determination as to whether the conditions have been met.
Okay.
And if you are prepared to take action today, my advice to you would be that you are saying that that condition has been met. You couldn't condition it upon.
Okay. That's why I was asking.
Future action. Yep.
I'd feel more comfortable knowing that that council has passed that, and that can't occur till tonight. We will have an opportunity to meet
We meet
between
this
now.
Thursday.
This Thursday and next Monday.
And again Monday.
I would feel more comfortable to have a document that says it's been addressed. There's always a chance. Okay, that's my thought.
Well, we can't control what another body does,
Yeah.
so I would want to wait.
And I would also point out that this issue was raised, Mr. Reinhardt referenced the annexation in Brown Township. This exact issue came up in that annexation as well.
And I believe we waited on that, didn't we?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
The question was raised, I think, by one of the two against speakers regarding fire and whether or not that, who's going to take care of that in the interim period. You have any thoughts on that?
So the only comment I can have on that is to take the services resolution as it is written. And the services resolution says that the city will provide that service as of the date of acceptance of the annexation, but it states some conditions that need to be met first in order to be able to provide that service, extension of lines, hydrants, things like that. But again, I would go back to reference to the case law, which is they don't actually have to provide fire service. So they're, even if you assume, well, they're not actually providing it, they have still adopted in their services resolution stating the services they will provide that don't have any conditions. And so I don't have any concerns about that issue, but from a practical standpoint, I can understand the township's concern. If they provide fire service, are they gonna have to continue to provide fire service if the city can't? So the concern is legitimate, but in terms of my review under the statute, I don't have any concerns. I would advise that you not find that objection is well taken.
What about the comment about voting? People who being annexed into it can vote in the township and it can affect their election. Do you have any thoughts on that?
What Trustee Garrett referenced is absolutely an issue in other places around the state where you have annexation that has occurred, and under a type 2 or an expedited type 2 annexation, the people within that territory are still in the township even after they've been annexed. And under an expedited type 2 annexation, the boundaries are not conformed. In fact, they cannot be, absent some agreement to the effect of, between the township and the municipal corporation. So that is a legitimate concern. However, it is not one of the items in the statute that you're allowed to review. And in this particular annexation, my understanding is that this is not a residential development, but that could always change. But again, it's not one of the items that you're allowed to review. So even if you thought that that was a concern, it's not one of the
So
statutory
what is the
factors.
remedy? They just need to work it out with the city or legislative change or?
Number two,
Well, legislative change.
That's the only way to address that issue.
Okay. Any other comments, questions?
I guess I'm still a little confused. A person living in that, one of those parcels being annexed, could still vote as even though they're annexed into the city and a resident of the city, could they still vote in the township?
Yes, they could.
So they could, okay.
I mean, that occurs in lots of places where the boundaries have not been conformed.
Okay.
So that's not an uncommon occurrence.
Okay. But again, it's not something we can object to.
Yeah, it's not one of the statutory factors for an expedited type 2 annexation.
Right.
But I could appreciate the concern and
Yeah.
if it could get reviewed and evaluated by the property. Any other thoughts or comments? It's my view that I don't feel comfortable voting today until we have an agreement in place that we can have Eric review and tell us that it meets the criteria. And so there will be no vote today.
Would you like me to bring it back on Thursday's agenda?
That would probably be,
I will not be here Thursday, but
let's do it next Monday.
Okay,
Just a note that Monday's session is at the fair.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
We still conduct business. Okay.
So we'll be listed on the fair session at Monday, so we're in the new Ag building if anyone's looking for us at 9:30.
Okay, well,
That brings us to administrator reports.
okay.
If that's the session that we're going to bring this back up, I do want the public to be aware that if you're coming just for our meeting, to let the people at the gate know that you're coming for the commissioners' meeting, and they will let you in without having to pay.
good point.
That's an excellent point, and,
Yeah.
And where you go after our meeting, that's up to you.
yeah, well, they have to be escorted out, right? That is an excellent point, and we will make a call and make that request. And if anybody has an issue, let us know. Okay, with that, we move to reports.
Yes, Commissioners, Tracy Davies, Administrator. Just a couple of meetings to note this week. The Transportation Improvement District meets Wednesday at 9:30. You heard both Director Tarowski and Engineer Bowser then talk about the TID and its importance. So it'll be on Wednesday at 9:30 here in this room. And then the Finance Authority meets Wednesday as well at 5 p.m. at the Bixby campus. Thank you.
Don?
I have nothing, thank you.
Eric? Commissioner Lewis?
We have a DK meeting this Tuesday afternoon at the Bixby Building. I believe it starts at 12:30. A combination meeting of the board and the policy committee, and I think.
One 12:30, one's at 1:30.
All of us, yes. That's all I have.
So if Jeff had gone, Commissioner Benton had gone first, you would have got to say that, because he just said it. And he-
Oh, I know, now.
It was on my list.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, I guess the only other thing I have to say is my two favorite football teams won over the weekend. Ohio State and whoever's playing Michigan. So, good weekend.
And I really don't have anything else to, well, I do, the wall, the Vietnam Wall.
Oh, that's right.
Is this week, and in
Yes.
fact, I'm working Friday evening
Gosh.
4 to 8, and I believe there's training Wednesday afternoon or evening, and I hope everybody will have an opportunity to, certainly if you've had,
I'll jump in too
Well,
on that.
so-
I actually forgot about that.
and
Yeah.
this is something that brought to I believe it's the only place in the state
Yeah.
this year.
This
Yeah,
is the
it
only
is.
place, not only in the state, but in the whole region. So we're very fortunate to have the wall that heals here. And we do have training on Wednesday night, and then I know several of us have volunteered, so we will be outside guarding the wall.
Yeah.
So it's really a very
And it's
replica of the
24/7 until it
Vietnam War.
closes Sunday at 2 o'clock.
Sunday, yeah. And it's on Havener, it's in Havener Park on Liberty Road.
That's right, yeah.
Preservation Park group, or organization. So congratulations, and I'm sure it'll be well attended.
Other than that, I have nothing else. If there's no objection,